That morning, shortly after sunrise, a mixed-breed dog belonging to a resident of the area left his yard, as he did every day. His behavior wasn't unusual. The animal used to roam short trails around the property before returning. This time, he didn't come back. Tracks later recorded showed that the dog advanced about a kilometer, heading towards a patch of tall grass, occasionally used by elephants during seasonal shifts. The terrain features shallow depressions, low shrubs, and remnants of rusty wire left over from old fences. It was in this area that the dog located the puppy. The little elephant was lying partially on its side, its front leg trapped by an improvised metal snare type of trap frequently used by illegal hunters to capture smaller animals, but which ends up injuring larger species when abandoned. The puppy had superficial bleeding, difficulty moving, and clear signs of exhaustion. Marks on the ground indicate that the animal had repeatedly tried to stand up without success. The dog approached cautiously. There was no aggressive barking. Subsequent images show that he circled the puppy, sniffed the wound, and remained there for a few seconds. Then, the dog's behavior changed completely. He turned his body abruptly and ran back towards the property. The return trip was quick, in an almost straight line, kicking up dry dust along the way. Upon arrival, the dog did not follow its usual resting pattern. It went directly to its owner, vocalized repeatedly, and began pulling at the cuff of his pants, alternating with short runs towards the gate. The resident noticed that something was wrong. He grabbed a simple machete, a bottle of water, and followed the animal. The journey was made on foot, guided exclusively by the dog, which would advance a few meters, stop, wait, and then continue. This pattern repeated itself several times. As they approached the tall grass, the man heard low, irregular sounds, heavy breathing mixed with small moans. A few steps later, he spotted the fallen elephant calf. The animal tried to move its trapped leg, but was unsuccessful. The dog stayed by its side, keeping a respectful distance. At that moment, the man had not yet seen the mother, but recent marks on the ground indicated the presence of an adult elephant nearby. The situation demanded speed. The cub was alive, but time was against him. As soon as the man approached the puppy, he realized he wasn't alone. The silence of the savannah had changed. There was weight in the air. Large footprints marked the damp ground beneath the flattened grass, indicating recent movement of an adult elephant. Broken branches and torn leaves showed that something big had passed by there minutes before. The dog remained motionless, ears perked up, body rigid. The resident slowly raised his gaze. About 50 meters away, partially hidden among low bushes, was the puppy's mother. The adult elephant remained still, her body turned towards them. Her ears were open, her trunk low. She wasn't advancing. She did not retreat. Her posture indicated extreme vigilance. Experts described this behavior as defensive protection. The mother maintains a strategic distance while assessing the threat and the possibility of intervention. The man stopped any sudden movements. He slowly lowered himself beside the puppy. The little elephant was breathing with difficulty. Its front leg was wrapped in a metal loop, already tightly pressed against the skin. There were traces of dried blood mixed with dust. The dog stayed close, but out of reach of the elephant's trunk. No barking, no overly close proximity. The resident quickly examined the trap. It was a thick steel wire, twisted by hand, typical of illegal hunters who leave improvised traps in the region and do return to collect them. Removing that knot required strength and time. The man used the machete to try to cut the metal. The blade wasn't suitable. He only managed to superficially mark the wire. The elephant took 2 steps forward. The ground trembled slightly. The dog instinctively moved in front of its owner, positioning itself between him and the cub. It didn't move forward. It just stood there. The man raised one hand slowly, showing he wasn't carrying any weapons besides the simple machete. He took half a step back. The elephant stopped. For several seconds, nobody moved. Communication was done solely through body posture. The man then tried another approach. He passed the machete under the wire and began to turn it, trying to loosen the loop instead of cutting it. The puppy reacted with small movements. The elephant emitted a deep, low sound, almost inaudible from a distance. The dog remained still. With each attempt by the man, the noose loosened by millimeters. The process took several minutes. Sweat was running down the resident's face. The sun was rising quickly. The temperature was climbing. At one point, the wire finally loosened enough for the man to pull the puppy's leg out. The trap fell to the ground. The puppy tried to move. It fell. It tried again. The elephant moved forward a few more meters. Now it was completely visible, but it still wasn't attacking. The dog took a step back, moving closer to its owner. The puppy was breathing more regularly. The injured leg trembled. It was free, but the danger had not yet passed. As soon as the metal lasso hit the ground, the atmosphere changed. The puppy tried to put its weight on its newly freed leg. It staggered and partially knelt. Then it managed to stand for a few seconds, supporting its own body. Its breathing was still irregular. The open wound began to bleed again. The mother elephant moved forward slowly. Now she was less than 15 meters away. Each step made the ground vibrate. The resident remained motionless, his machete lowered, avoiding any sudden movements. The dog backed up until it was beside its owner's leg, without barking or growling, just observing. The elephant stopped. She raised her trunk. She sniffed the air. Then she pointed her snout directly at the puppy. The little elephant responded with a short, weak, but recognizable sound. The mother moved closer. She pressed her trunk against the cub's body. She examined the injured leg. She sniffed the spot where the wire had been. For several seconds, she completely ignored the man and the dog. All her attention was focused on the puppy. Experts describe this as post-trauma assessment. The mother identifies strange smells, checks for mobility, and tries to understand what happened. The cub tried to walk. It took 2 steps. It fell. The mother positioned herself beside him, offering support with her own body. She gently pushed with her trunk. The little one managed to stand up again. This time, he remained standing for longer. The resident took a slow step back, then another. The dog followed. Neither of them turned their backs. The elephant then did something unexpected. She turned her body partially toward the man. She lowered her head slightly. She remained that way for a few seconds. It wasn't an attacking stance. It wasn't an escape either. It was a brief gesture, followed by a low call to the puppy. The mother began to lead the little one into the denser vegetation. The puppy was limping, but he was walking. Little by little, the two disappeared among the bushes. The man remained standing for several minutes. The dog sat down beside him. On the ground, only the rusty metal wire remained, the trap empty. Later, residents returned to the site to collect the material and warn other neighbors about abandoned traps. There were no further sightings of the elephant that day, but tracks indicated that the family headed towards a dense forest area, far from human roots. The cub had survived the first few hours, without the removal of the snare. Experts say the animal likely would have lost its leg to circulation problems or died from infection within a few days. It all started with a dog that decided not to go home. Now I ask you, if you were there, would you have the courage to approach? Days later, residents found new footprints near the river to the north. Tracks of an adult elephant, accompanied by smaller footsteps. The puppy was moving. The wound had begun to heal, according to a subsequent assessment by a local conservation team monitoring the area. There were no signs of serious infection. The little one managed to keep up with the group. The dog returned to its normal routine. The resident put away the machete and never found another trap in that stretch of savannah. Nothing was filmed. Nothing made headlines. But one puppy started walking again, and that changed everything. The savannah continued its ancient rhythm. The wind washed away the tracks. The sun continued to rise in the same place. But now, in that corridor of dry grass, there is a silent story recorded in the earth. A dog that didn't give up, a man who kept going, and a mother who waited. Perhaps miracles don't make a sound. Perhaps they simply pass by us quick, discreet, leaving behind evidence that there is still a connection between species. Now tell me, would you have followed that dog? Do you think the mother understood? Write in the comments. Because some stories don't exist just to be told. They exist to remind us of who we can still become. Thanks for watching.